a story. Many years back, when the GPS system did not exist, there was a salesman who had to travel to Detroit to close a sales deal. This sales deal was a make or break deal for him. But that day, his flight got delayed. And so, this salesman was in a rush. He reached the airport of Detroit, and as soon as he reached, he took a self-driven rental car. On the way outside the airport, he picked up a map, and off he went. He was following the map, but continuously, he was ending up in one wrong turn after another. He was unable to find his destination, and that's when reality hit him. He was desperately driving across the streets of Detroit, following the map of Chicago. Just like this salesman, we all navigate through different phases of our life to achieve our life goals with a wrong map in our brain. No matter what we try, the wrong map mostly creates the goof up. We need to understand that the problem is not outside, but most of our problems come from within. And that's what brings me here today to share my life journey of how I created breakthrough by moving my life from a life full of chaos to a life full of clarity and working in abundance and success. So let me begin. Ever since I was little, I have lived a very, very uncertain life. I was suffering from this life-threatening disease for over 30 years of my life. And I call it as PDA, protracted disquietude anthropophobia. The symptoms of my disease included long-term anxiety, rejection, and extreme fear of facing people. I was scared and worried always. And it all began when I was just 3 years old, when I was sent to stay with my extended family in another city in order for me to have access to better education. Ever since then, for the longest time I remember, I became invisible. I did not have a voice. I was not seen. And to an extent where I did not have any friends in my growing up years. I, to make it worse, used to steal things. I used to steal surplus change from home and buy things. I used to give these things to little kids. Here, take this. Can I play with you? Here, take this, please. Can I be a part of your group? I just wanted to be accepted. We all want to be accepted. We all want to be a part of something, isn't it? My PDA continued throughout my adolescence and my youth. It had reached a crescendo when one day, about 11 years back, I received a phone call. I reached out to the phone and picked it up to hear my sister's voice on the other side. And she said, "Sis, you need to come home now. Something terrible has happened. Mom has met with an accident and she is no more." That was the moment that left me numb. That very moment changed the entire trajectory of my life. And that's what brings me to my very first suggestion for you today. Embrace your situation. That's the very first suggestion I want to bring to you today. I do not know how I moved on at that time. But if I think back, I have some question for you. Do you like it when all the parameters in your life are under control? It feels comfortable when you know what the outcome of your life is going to be, isn't it? How many of us would like to face uncertain situations? How many of us would like to face a storm? The cow and the buffalo metaphor explains this very, very beautifully. How many of us have heard about the cow and the buffalo metaphor? Okay, let me explain. When the storm hits, the cows and the buffaloes, they both can sense the storm very, very well. So when the storm hits, the cows, they instinctively run away from the storm. It's a but obvious decision, right? But eventually, the storm catches up with the cows who do not stop for the storm to pass. They just run and stay with the storm way longer than they have to. They are in this misery and in this pain way longer than they have to. On the other hand, the buffaloes do something extraordinary. When the storm hits, the buffaloes, they just hit right into the storm and get over the storm way sooner than the cows. The buffaloes, they overcome their initial fear by accepting the situation first and then going through it rather than going around it. Now, if we look at the bigger picture, don't you think this looks to be a better choice? Isn't this what all of us must be choosing in the very first place? But no. Most of us find ourselves guilty of running away from the storms of our life. You must be able to embrace your situation, because when you are embracing, you are ready to work on your situation. You are ready to work through them. And when you work through them, you grow through them. And that's exactly what I did. I faced the storm of my life. I embraced my situation. And that's my first suggestion to you. Embrace your situation. Now, as I embraced what life had to offer and decided to carry on my mother's legacy of impacting lives and using it as my passion and my profession, I moved ahead to impact lives. And that's what brings me to my second suggestion for you today. Pick a nursery rhyme and sing it in your head. But wait, you have to sing the nursery rhyme in the voice of an opera singer. Sing that nursery rhyme in your head. How did it go? Did it go great? I doubt it. It is because it is difficult to sound like somebody you are not. It is difficult to be somebody you are not. Yes? When I started my professional journey as a breakthrough leader and a speaker, I learned this the hard way. It all began with my very first keynote speech which I gave. Here it is. I was super excited and thrilled, but I was very, very nervous because I wanted it to be perfect. Now, people who know me very well, they also know that I have always been an introvert and a shy person. But I did not want the world to know this at all about me. I wanted the world to know me as a no-nonsense, hard-talking neuroscience expert who's ready to change the world. Until that day one of the participants came to me because he got to know that I had been an introvert. He came to me and he asked me how I overcame my situation because his daughter was also going through her version of PDA. And then we started talking, and after that, that person knew me as Esther the speaker, who was once a shy person. And it was possible because that day, I allowed Esther the breakthrough leader and Esther the speaker to be existing with Esther the shy and the introvert all together. And that's exactly my second suggestion for you today. You must embrace your situation. You must come out as authentic. And so, every time when I go for a meeting now, I carry with me Esther, the power lifter, Esther, the not very good singer, Esther, the travel junkie, and Esther, the movie buff, along with Esther, the speaker and the entrepreneur. Because I do not know which Esther today will build a connection with my audience. It is good to be authentic. Because people with whom you connect, people with whom you work, people with whom you build relationship with, they do not want to see your masked self. Yes? They want to see and be able to look into your eyes and feel that it is okay to be not okay. They want to be able to connect with you. And so, stay human. Because that's what makes you real. Be yourself, because that's what makes you real. And that's what is my second suggestion to you, because when you are real, that's what makes you authentic. Be authentic. Now, moving on to my third suggestion for today. Let me ask you, have you all ever wondered how there are some people who achieve results so differently in their lives? Whereas there are some who act as a hero in their life. On the other hand, there are some people who play the role of a sidekick or even the role of a villain in their own life story. In pursuit of understanding human behavior as life went on, I got around looking for deeper answers. And I deducted that the main reason why a lot of people break their heads on the stone, whereas other people convert those stones into milestones, was because it is essentially tied to their belief of who they think they are. So let me ask you, if you look at your own life, every day that you do, what is that one thing which is very, very consistent in your life? What is that one thing? And the answer is you. You are the most consistent thing in your life. You are the creator of everything in your life. You are at the center of everything in your life. Many a times, if we notice closely, we will see that in most situations, we act like weak, meek victims of our circumstances. And we let these circumstances take charge of our life. Because we forget that we are the creator of everything in our life. Yeah? Most of the time, we play the role of a bystander who's watching, who's looking, who's seeing, and even cursing our own life situations. And that is the major reason why most of the time we lose control of our own results. Most of the time, we lose control of the dreams and desires that we started with, and we start manipulating them. And that is why the question that we need to ask ourselves is, what is the role that you're picking up in your life story? Because when you pick up the right story and put yourself in the center of your story, that's where you start fulfilling your dreams and desires. And so, write the right story for yourself is my third suggestion for you today. So, if I can ask you, do you have the vision of your future planned and defined in your mind? If you are not defined by the vision of your future, you will be defined by the past experiences and memories of your past. And these past experiences are going to make the decisions for you. 95% of who we are, by the time we are 35, we run on an automated computer-like program. And so, the remaining 5% of a conscious mind that wants to bring in change faces a lot of resistance by our 35-year-old automated system. At this stage, we lose our free will to bring in change. Most of the people that we come across, they wait for a situation of loss, failure, bankruptcy, or even disease to make up their mind to bring in change. Our thoughts and our feelings govern every choices that we make in our life. And so if we have to impact our thoughts, we have to bring in willingness to change our choices. And that begins when you embrace your situation, when you work and be authentic to yourself and the world around you, and write the right story for yourself where you are the center of your own creation. Because when you do that, you are going to create breakthrough at every step of your way by moving all your chaos and converting it into absolute clarity and fulfilling each and every dream that you aspire to fulfill. Thank you.